Good afternoon. This afternoon, we're going to be looking at how we attempt source-based questions. You'll notice that when dealing with source-based questions, there are things that you need to understand. Now, first of all, you need to understand that when you're dealing with sources, there is something that is called the key question. The key question focuses on the content that is in the sources. It will be, and then in most cases, the key question is also asked as a paragraph question. And you'll notice that source-based questions have got different sources, which are in most cases they are labeled. They'll be labeled source A, source B, source C, and source D. And you'll notice that the question is going to be set according to the sources. You notice that the questions that are going to be referring to source A, the questions that are going to be referring to source B, the questions that are going to be referring to source C and source D. And then we have a paragraph question which is actually addressing all the sources. For example, we were looking at black consciousness, and then you'll notice that the key question can talk about the nature of black consciousness. The key question can talk about the impact of black consciousness to the student. So you'll notice that as you read the sources, you need to read the sources with understanding. Highlight concepts, terms that are actually going to be of use when you're actually answering the questions. In most cases, we do not need to read sources like we're reading a newspaper. Let us read with that in mind, that you're going to be answering questions after you have read the source. Questions that you need to expect in source-based are define, identify, explain, what was the impact, comment on sources, compare, contrast sources. Basically, those are the kind of questions that you actually to expect in source-based questions. And you'll notice that you are also going to have a paragraph question. A paragraph question that actually covers all the sources at the end of the day, and it is out of 8 marks. So you'll notice that in your question paper, you're going to have level 1 questions, you're going to have level 2 questions, you're going to have level 3 questions. That is actually how the paper is going to be set. So now, for example, and we looked at black consciousness, Steve Biko's role in the black consciousness. Also looked at the legacy of black consciousness. So you'll notice that a typical exam question can be like, what was the nature of civil resistance in South Africa? Now, when saying what was the nature of civil resistance in South Africa, then it goes on to actually give you sources that are actually talking about that particular a key question. So at the end of the day, when you're answering those questions, you need to refer to the sources, because when you don't refer to the sources, then there becomes a problem. And then you'll notice that you will face questions that will be talking about what message is conveyed by the source or by the picture. Remember, we're going to have pictures in the sources that actually portray some particular information. Now, one other thing to note when you're answering source-based questions, or when you're reading the source already tells you who wrote the source, when was it written, why was it written, and then it will also look at the information that is actually in the source. So all those are things that you need to understand in order for you to actually be able to answer source-based questions. That is so much about source-based questions. So for our next presentation, we're going to talk about the international response to apartheid in South Africa.